Hi guys, Ryu here with another video for Blender. In this one we're gonna be designing a sci-fi streetlight. This tutorial is gonna be mostly for people who start with Hard OPS and Boxcutter, and also for anyone who struggles with, coming up with shapes and ideas and sort of visualizing what they want to achieve. The way I usually work is very simple. I try to envision what I'm trying to do, like where I'm gonna be using that thing, okay? General shape, like what I want it to look aggressive, I want it to look soft, what I want to do with it, right? So in this case, I want to design a street light. So before I start doing anything, I can envision myself a path, okay, like this. Let's make it a bit longer, right? Let me just enable my screencast keys here. There you go. And let's make it a bit wider, and then we can array this, all right, on y-axis. So press X, and then let's say this is a path, okay, right? And this path is like an overhang or something, and it's somewhere high in the air. You're gonna have some barriers here on the side. So now what I want is design lights that's gonna be going in this fashion, kind of like a C shape, okay, over the path. That's a bit too narrow. There you go. So they're gonna be going from from the bottom of this path, like a side, going here, somewhere here, right, and somewhere here, right? So that will give me an idea for the basic shape, right? So now if I wanted to create a basic shape, I'm going to do it with Hard OPS. And by the way, I'm going to be using machine tools as well for switching between solid mode and edit mode. If you see me pressing tab, you'll see a pie menu, which I'm going to be using really quickly because pie menus are very quick. And it's going to be edge, vertex, face, etc. So you simply press, move, and release, right? So Machine Tools is free, so you can get it on Blender Market, on Gumroad, links in the video description. I encourage you to look into Machine Tools Deus Ex because there's additional really fantastic option. I have a video on this one as well. Anyway, let's go back to Hard OPS. So let's, Boxcutter really, because we're going to be designing this with Boxcutter. So Alt W to enable Boxcutter. I'm using this new menu. So when you press D, normally you're going to be seeing this, right? But you can enable this new menu here on the input if you check this D key helper menu, okay? And also I highly recommend you select this option here, right mouse button, to cancel N-gon. So when you draw an N-gon, right, you can very easily cancel the whole thing using right mouse button. And if you want to cancel it slowly, you can press backspace, okay? This D helper menu is really good because it's quite extensive. It contains a lot of options that the basic menu doesn't. You can access it now by pressing Ctrl D. I recommend you use this one. So now to be able to draw the shape that we want, right, we're gonna be using N-gon, but we need to turn off one function which is called cyclic, and this will enable us to draw this kind of a shape, right? Now to change thickness of this shape, what you need to do, right, is click and draw, and then release and start clicking, and then you press T for solidification. So it works exactly like solidify modifier with Hard OPS, right? So we're gonna be drawing that. So let's zoom out a bit and let's start drawing. So let's draw the base, then we're gonna do an angle here. And by the way, the angle snap is enabled here by default, so I don't have to hold Control to snap to an angle. In fact, if I hold Control, I'm gonna release that angle snap, right? So it snaps into increments, and you can change the increments here from 50 degrees to, let's say, 45 or whatever you want, right? So let's draw it here, and let's make it like 45 degrees, kind of like a line here, and go up quite high, and do the same thing right here and the top of the lamp, right? And then click and press E for extrude. Move your scene with holding middle mouse button, and now you can extend it and extrude it on this side. And let's make it not too crazy, maybe like that. Click, and you're done, and you got this shape sorted. Now what we need to do, right, is to bevel these edges. You can do this while drawing an angle, but we can do it now. So let's go to edit mode, right? Select that edit mode, and we can't see really much because the solidification is on both sides. You can solidify on both sides, so the shape is actually in the middle. All this, you know, the wireframe. So what we need to do is press tab with machine tools and go to occlude, which will actually enable you to see all the edges. So select them with shift, holding shift, go to side view, right? Where is it? There we go. Orthographic with forward numpad, and you know what? I think I'm gonna move this one a bit higher though. So let's select these two edges, right? And go to side view and GZ and move it a little bit up. Move it a little bit up, maybe somewhere here. So it kind of matches a little bit better this bottom, right? Maybe it's a bit too high. Something like this. Okay, cool. So select these edges again. Control B for bevel and scroll the mouse, and on the bottom here you can see a number of segments. So let's go for like, I don't know, 11 or something. Should be enough. And click. And boom. We're done, right? Now we're gonna add bevel to it, so just click on the bevel. Add the bevel. It can be really thin, but make sure that there is no profile on it like that. So if you have something like this, what you need to do is go to bevel and press 1 to change profile. Okay, if you don't know the menu shortcuts, you can press H for the menu shortcuts. There's a lot of them, and H to collapse it, right? By the way, we want to enable one function in Hard OPS that allow us to hide this menu here when we're using bevels and other modifiers. So go to Hard OPS star, and actually I have to enable all this stuff because I think I updated my Hard OPS some time ago and I forgot to enable all of this function. So now when I'm gonna when I'll use bevel, you'll see that this window is gonna disappear. See what I mean? The same actually gonna happen with the H menu and the N menu. So watch, if I press bevel, the H menu is gonna pop, right? But when I finish, the side menu is gonna pop back in. So it's pretty handy tool. Anyway, let's fix this bevel because it's mental. I want it to be thin. There you go. And let's apply weighted normals because we have weird shading here. So Alt click on sharpen, boom. So we're good. And also we're gonna apply mirrors. So Alt X, we're gonna apply a mirror from right to left. Okay. Alright, cool. Now this base is a little bit short, so let's select this edge on GX and move it a little bit here. Cool. And let's select these two verts, okay? And Shift Control B to bevel them, right? So we're gonna have beveled these sides here. Now go to back view and rear view, and let's go to the menu and box. Now remember we're mirroring from left to right, so I wanted to create a cut in here like this, right? Maybe a narrow one that goes through up to here, and I press B for bevel. Now you see that the bevel will not bevel both ends, right? It just bevels the top over there, right? And the reason for it is that because you know, it's gonna bevel it in a mirror-like fashion, so top and bottom. So to enable the mirror on the front bit, you need to press Q for quad bevel, and now you're gonna be able to bevel them both like this. Okay, and click and confirm, and you know, we're good to go. Now if you wanted to change, for example, size of these, go to Q and ever scroll and recover this, and let's SY to narrow it down a bit. But you see that the bevel is gonna get distorted. To recover the shape of the bevel, you need to press Ctrl A and apply scale, which will fix the scale on the cutter, and it will fix the bevel because bevel is still live. Yeah, the middle section here is really heavy, right? So we need to kind of trim this thing. So let's go to front view and go to N-gon and make sure to enable that side click back on, and we're gonna select this, and we're gonna cut it in here. Maybe like this. This could be an interesting shape. Yeah, it's still a little bit too wide in my opinion, or like too, you know, too strong here. So what we can do is create some cool cuts in here. One more time, here, click and boom. Click and B, there we go. Make this bevel a bit smaller. And then click, now you're talking. Now for some reason we lost the bevel. That's actually quite interesting. Let's see what happens. So ever scroll, recall that. And we lost the bevel. So what we're gonna do is we're going to Alt Control click one of these edges, which will select them all, and Control B and bevel this, right? Now that also, what I want to do is I want to slice this. So I want to slice this with a box, maybe somewhere here like that, right? Something like this could do. And I'm going to apply this to the cutter. So I'll select cutter and smart apply. And we're going to select these edges here with Shift and Control B them. We got some problem here on the front. Let's see what's happening here. We got problem with verts. Now this is very easy to clean with machine tools. All you need to do is press 3. It's gonna get cleaned. Just make sure you're gonna enable all the machine tools options, because they're not enabled by default. Because machine in his own wisdom decided to turn this shit off. Oh jeez, I can't even spell, man. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. There you go. So these are my options enabled. If you can't find the edge constraint, you need to get the Deus Ex version, the paid one. That's the only thing that free version doesn't contain. But make sure you enable whatever you want here, because like I said, it comes without anything enabled. So I'm gonna select these edges and Control B and hold Shift and bevel this a little bit, and Shift 2 to hide it. Boom, and we are sorted. Now looking cool, looking cool. All right, so now we could lower this a little bit, So have a scroll and scroll your mouse till you find the cutter and GZ and move it down a bit. So there's a little bit of gap in here. I think it's gonna look a bit better. Cool. I think that's pretty neat. All right. So let's go to the back view and let's make it even lighter. Okay, so let's grab a square, the box, select this shape, and let's cut it in here in the middle. Maybe somewhere here like this, right? And cut it through. Shift to live, so shift click to live. And now we can manipulate with this cutter a bit. So let's expand it on y-axis, so SY. Make it a bit wider. Go to edge mode, Control Alt, select these edges and bevel them, right? And we're gonna have to bevel the front edges as well. So select these as well and bevel them now. So Control B and bevel that. And this should be cool, right? So how we looking? Yeah, looking pretty cool. We're looking pretty cool. This cutter could be moved a little bit, this one. So have a scroll and grab this cutter and literally move it a little bit. Maybe we could move it somewhere down here. See what we're getting here, this shading problem? That's because of how Blender is gonna be connecting this cutout to the shape. So we need to run our custom edges. So let's select this shape, go to edit mode and Control R and insert a loop, and simply insert a loop here, insert a loop here, and you can insert another loop here, and this should solve our problem. Cool, this should be fine. So now this thing is gone here because we created an edge here. Let's make this a bit lighter also. Let's make this look like there are two lights in here. So let's slice it in the middle here like this, right? Let's slice it, press B for bevel, because why the hell not? Okay, that's good. It starts looking like a light. And let's actually apply everything now. So let's go to operations and smart apply. Select these edges, right? And Control B them a little bit. Cool. Cool. Now, I would highly recommend saving this because, reasons. So I'm gonna save it on a desktop, I suppose, and run power save. which will run basically autosave in the interval of 2 minutes. This add-on is free, so I highly recommend you get it. It's fantastic. So let's create some shape on top of it because it's a bit boring, yeah? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna deselect everything, right? So go to box, right? And we're gonna draw a box in here on top, like this, right? And press E for extrusion. So E for extrusion and click. And click it to live. And we're gonna drop it down. So GZ, drop it down like here, maybe. Something like this. It's a little bit too long on this side, so we're gonna shape it up a bit. But before we do that, GZ, move it a little bit so it's inside in here. Let's grab an angle, right? And let's slice it here like this. It's the first thing. And we're going to slice it here like this. It's too long. And we're gonna do something like this. Hold Control and create this kind of a shape. So it's gonna be really light and sort of like a head of a bird or something. So now let's select these two and Q. Now the order of selection is important. This one runs bevels. You don't wanna use a boolean that has bevels. So select this one first. Shift select this one, then Q and booleans union, right? Okay, and then operations multiply, and you're done. So now we're going to go here and select these two edges and Control B and bevel it and Shift 2 to hide the cutter. Now you can't hide the cutter with Shift 2 because you technically used an object. So select the cutter and move it to cutters manually, okay? Select this one and Alt X and mirror to the other side. We're gonna recalculate sharpens. So press Q and Shift Control click on sharpen, which will remove sharp edges from everywhere and put them in places which are 30 degrees plus, which is what we want. And we're gonna simply apply them here manually because we will need to switch the way the bevel runs. So let me explain why, okay? See, bevel doesn't catch in here because the angle is too shallow. So you can now either change the auto smooth angle, or you could just simply switch here to weight because we are running weight on these edges, and now you can see there's a bevel in here. So there you go. Awesome. So we got that going on. Let's make this side of this light a little bit more interesting, right? So now we can make it a bit more light and airy. So we could either, create maybe this kind of a shape here and press B for bevel. There you go. B for bevel, and move your mouse to adjust the bevel and do something like this. It's just gonna make this shape look a bit lighter, but this should do. Now on the bottom here, what we need is a cutter. But you see, if you're gonna go to the bottom, you can't really see it because this base is obstructing our view. So we can switch here to object to draw in object mode. Go to this magnet, which will allow us to enable dots when we hold Control. And we're going to draw a line here, right? Press J. Now what we can do is hold Control, click and draw a shape here, hold Alt, and now you can draw it in the middle, see? And we're gonna press B. You can release your Control and Alt, by the way, and press T for solidification, and Shift click, and then GZ, drop it a bit down, it's a bit too high. There we go. Now I'm getting a weird bug when I apply this. My bevel gets applied, so what I'm going to do is remove the bevel from here, okay? And then I'm going to smart apply this boolean, and then apply a bevel on top of it, okay? And I'm going to Shift Control click on sharpen to rerun sharp edges and simply mark these. And now I'm going to use Mesh Machine to mirror. So Alt X and simply move my mouse. If you don't have Mesh Machine, what you can do is go to Solid View, Alt X with Hard OPS, press D, Symmetry, and symmetrize it, and then make sure that you're gonna reset the mirror next time. So Alt X and press X to reset the mirror from symmetry to modifier. Okay, so that's how it works. But machine tools is fantastic for symmetrizing very quickly. Let's grab this bottom part here and GZ and drop it down, and Control B to chamfer and scroll your mouse, and there you go. And one more time I'm going to press Alt X and mirror symmetrize it to the other side with Mesh Machine. Cool beans. Alright, so now let's do something here in the bottom. We can grab a square. We don't need these dots anymore, to be honest. We're just gonna grab a shape here, drop it down a bit, and bevel this like that, and kind of extrude it down a bit, just a little bit, and click. And I'm gonna leave it like this. Go to circle. We're going to a bit more. Let's create an edge here, a bit more sort of centered. So draw a circle, and you can actually move it. G and hold Shift, and you can move it on the surface if you want to. So you can move it somewhere here, and E, hold Shift, drop it down, and then Shift T to taper like this. E to move it a bit up because it's a bit too deep, and boom. Now we can actually Alt X, X to reset the mirror, remember, and boom, right? There you go. Cool. So we got our light. Now, this also could be a bit lighter, I think, so we could just create some kind of a cut in here as well. If you want to, we could simply grab a box and run something here as well. So like a cut. Make sure you're gonna switch it to view. One more time from the top. Draw a shape down here. Shift click to shift to live and see what we can do with it. Let's go to back view and GZ, move it up a bit. And let's see. We could bevel these edges, right? And these edges, right? So these four. So Control B and bevel them like that. Kind of interesting shape in here. Just gonna make this whole structure a bit lighter, there you go. Cool. So we got something like this. Now let's add the material to it. So click that and Alt M and add matte. It's gonna be a bit black, but let's go to look depth and see what we got here. It's a little bit dark. Let's make it a bit brighter. Something like this looks awesome. Now what you could do is separate these, right? So select this one and this one, Control L and P selection. And now this is a separate selection. So you can Alt M and add another matte to it. And in addition to this, what we could do is, select these and click on plus here, then new, then click here, switch to emission. Come on, emission. And let's switch to maybe light blue and assign. And you got yourself a lamp. Boom. Now I give you additional tip. If you create lamps like this one's a bit too saturated. If you create lamps like this, it's a good idea to add a physical light to it of the same shape. The quality of light is going to be simply a bit better. So go to light and area, right? And GZ, move it up, go to top view and kind of adjust it with the size of that light. So SY, SX. Let's go to the bottom here and see. Just move it up here. Make it a bit bigger, so SX. Maybe it's too big. Move it somewhere here. And it's a bit too wide, so SY. There you go. And then simply adjust the power of the light, like maybe, I don't know, 400 or something. It's gonna look a bit more natural, especially if you're gonna add volumetrics. So then Alt D and Y. So if you copy the light with Alt D, you can adjust one of them, and they both will adjust simultaneously you know, like this, right? See, they're all adjusting together. So it's a good idea to do that. Now we need to copy the color of this hex here. Copy this to the light. So select the light and copy. So now I got the same color of the light of the emission, and the lights have the same color. And like I said, this will produce a little bit better results. So if I'm gonna grab these two area lights and put them in a collection, so M new collection lights, right? And let's say I'm gonna make it here 600 maybe. Boom. So if I'm going to turn them on and off, you'll see the difference probably, right? Just looks a bit more natural, especially like I said, especially if you work with volumetrics. Okay, so if you're gonna go to, you know, to EV, right, and let's just go to shader editor and world, and if you don't have these nodes, enable node wrangler add-on, and then simply press Ctrl T, which will add these nodes. Click here to add the HDRI. So HDRI, and on top of this we're going to add principal volume. So principal volume, plug it to volume, and this is too strong, so we're gonna make it 0.003 or something. There you go. And make it slightly warm, maybe. There you go. And so now let me show you the difference, right? This, I think, in cycles should be EV. There you go. I should make it a bit denser, so 0.3. It's gonna be a bit more visible, right? So now you see that this is a light with the emission with the light. So let me show you what happens when I turn it off. See, it's just a bit more of a kind of like a light spill. Yeah, it just looks a bit more natural, these reflections here. It just looks much better. And you can adjust the size, the power of this lights, right? So let's make it 1000, for example. Okay, and you see that I got this cone, which would be invisible if you have only emission, right? So make sure that you're always using lights with emission. You know, it's a bonus tip. So now we can kind of grab this path, right? So let's grab the cube and let's just make it smaller. Go to front view here and move it somewhere here. Maybe extend it a bit, and let's make it a bit wider and put some color on it and array this X. Can array it this way, right? And we can simply move these lights on the axis. So Alt D and Y, and move it somewhere here. And now you can see that it looks pretty awesome. And just as a reminder, we're running a massive discount right now on Gumroad and Blender Market, 25% off. Blender Market products are already discounted, so just go to Blender Bros on Blender Market. On Gumroad, you need to put the code Summer 2021. And you'll get 25% off. Make sure you check the additional bundles and offers, because we got tons of them. We spent quite a considerable amount of time updating our stores, you know, and adding some really cool bundles for you guys, so you can save additional buck with it. And now on top of this, you know, you got the discount going on, so some of the savings could be incredible. I encourage you to look at the anniversary bundle that after discount is like $217 or something, but the value of this pack is about 400 something bucks, so you're saving about $200. So if you want to buy a lot of our products, this is probably the best way to go about it. And of course, the links to Hard OPS and Boxcutter in the video description. You have discounts right now on Hard OPS and Boxcutter. Oh shit, I didn't copy these slides. Just realized. You have discounts on Hard OPS and Boxcutter as well. Machine tool, mesh machine, decal machine. So if you really want to buy some add-ons, this is the best time to do it. All the links to add-ons that I'm using are in the video description. So go ahead and grab them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.